Hey, here you go. Uh, Here we are, and it's 8:30. It's Monday morning. What does that mean? It's property finance Q&A time. That's what it means. Because I do this pretty much every Monday morning, apart from bank holidays and the like. We've had some cracking weather the last few weeks. Not today. Well, not where I am anyway. It's pretty overcast out there and grey. But anyway, there we go. So, hey. Property Finance Q&A. I jump on here every Monday morning about 8:30 and you guys ask me some questions. What about property finance? Why do we pick that as a subject? Because I spent 20 plus years brokering property finance. So trusty cup of tea's here and I'll be having a slurps of that as we go through. So got a question on property finance? What's bugging you? What's confusing you? What's frustrating you? Let me know and pop a question in there and I'll answer it. So I have a little chat box. It's down there for me on that side. I just look down there and I get that. So that's what I do. What do you want to know? Fire a question. Let me know. I'll answer it. That's how we do it. Been doing this for over 5 years now. And do you know what? Works pretty well. So let me tell you. Now, I'm going to tell you a couple of things today. I'm going to tell you about the pitchfreenetworking.com. That's there. This Saturday, big event, my community summer barbecue. It's where a lot of people I've trained and even some of the people I haven't trained. We're going to get together in Stratford-upon-Avon and we'll have a magnificent day chatting about property all day. I'm going to give you the details on that, tell you more about that. And my mentees and proteges had a fantastic week last week. So we met, or some of them met up for a mentoring day in Leeds last week and shared some of the results. And I'm going to share some of those results with you today because they're pretty good actually. So property finance, what is it you want to know? Just pop your question in there. Now I'm going out live right now on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on a couple of my Facebook pages, Recycle Cash and Kevin Wright, Property Finance Expert. Because when you've been doing property finance for 20 plus years, do you know, I think I'm entitled to use that word expert. What do you think? I get a couple of trolls on that, you know, from time to time. Yeah, why is everybody an expert? What makes you an expert? You know what people are like. So I say 20 plus years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals brokered. I reckon that makes me an expert. And I sometimes say, what are you expert at? There we are. I never get a reply to that, by the way. So, what do you want to know? See, I hang around here for about half an hour. Sometimes we get one or two questions. Sometimes we get a dozen. Occasionally we don't get any, but that's okay too. I don't mind. You know, I rock up here every week and make myself available for those people who want to ask a question. So you got a question on property finance? Chuck it in the chat box. Now, pitch free networking. Look, you know, there's a lot of networking things. There's networking events. There's networking meetings in the evenings. What's the big issue really that people have? Well, they went, you know, they go there to network and they end up being pitched to buy something. Now, you know, I know everyone's got to make a living, all that sort of thing. But hey, you know, wouldn't it be nice to just go to a networking event and be able to relax and not sitting there on edge a bit, waiting for okay, when's the sales pitch coming? What am I going to be pitched to buy today? And you know, I've recognised that's the thing. And it would have been back in 2021. I first did a summer barbecue, and I thought, let's make it pitch free. In fact, I call it my 100% pitch free networking conferences. And it's this Saturday. So if you're watching this live, this Saturday, 12th of July, if you're watching the replay, as long as you're watching it before Saturday, the 12th of July, this is relevant to you. You can come along, spend the whole day. We're in Stratford-upon-Avon, Crown Plaza Hotel. Nice hotel back straight onto the River Avon. And when we put up the barbecue stuff, sit out on the benches and everything else, it's really nice. We have a massive 2-hour lunch, so you've got loads of time to network. What else do we do? Well, we have a big networking session in the morning, nearly an hour, and then over an hour in the afternoon. So in total, over 5 hours with networking. And what does that mean? It means you just get up, walk around the room, and informally chat to whoever it is you want to chat to. Now, networking at its purest, at its finest. Do we do anything else? Well, yeah, we do. I always have a Mentee case study slot just before lunch. And this Saturday, I'm going to talk to Richard Drakes. Now, Richard's been in my community for about 4 years, I think, since I trained him. Now, if you're thinking, well, I don't have enough money to get in property, you need big amounts of cash to get into property, well, Richard's going to show you don't. Actually, because he's doing, it's a concept called exchange with delayed completion. So you exchange contracts and you negotiate with the owner to give you the keys on exchange, not completion. And then you get in there and do the work, whatever it is needs doing. And then you refinance out at the uplifted value, and you usually don't need a deposit. I've been teaching this for 15 years. It's not a flash in the pan strategy, and I'm not a flash in the pan trainer. So, if you're thinking like I haven't got enough money to get involved in property, actually you're probably wrong. And the other thing that Richard did on these cases, on one particular one of these two, he took on board what I taught him, that you don't need to put down a 10% deposit. Now, he exchanged contracts on one of these deals, and he's going to tell you all about it. I'm going to ask him about it. He's going to be there all day. You can ask him anything you like about it. Exchanged on 180 on a mixed-use commercial property, and but his deposit to negotiate, he did it on 2,000, not 18,000. So massively less cash to get into a deal than you would think. And when he gets out the back end, the value he's added between the exchange and the completion means he's not going to have to put a deposit down at all. Hey, do you want to find out more of that? Come along, Pitch Free Networking. There it is, pitchfreenetworking.com. This Saturday, 12th of July, Crown Plaza Hotel, Stratford-upon-Avon. We've also got Jane Deeks there. Jane Deeks is a VAT specialist, and I was with her on Friday up in Leeds, and she's got some great ideas on how to avoid paying tax on our refurb projects, VAT tax, that is, on our refurb projects. And and she knows some of these hacks, as they call it. She knows some hacks that even accountants don't know. So if you want to put some extra profit on your bottom line of your projects, come along to the summer barbecue. We've got a morning there from, hey, Nicoletta, how you doing? So Nicoletta was up in Leeds at my Ninja Aspirers mentoring group meeting on Friday. Good to see you, Nicoletta. Trust you got home safely. So, hey, guys, questions. What do you want to know? Fire me a question, I'll answer it. Make it about property finance, anything loosely in that genre. That's where my expertise is. So we had a bit of a week last week. I'm telling you about that. My Ninja Aspirers mentoring group got together up in Leeds on Friday. And we just spend the whole day chatting about what we're doing. Real people doing real deals. None of this bullshit. None of this bravado, braggadeering. Is that a word? About people making fortunes and that, but just solid deals. Now, we were talking about Nikki. Now, Nikki's new with me. She jumped on board in March, and she was a bit overwhelmed at first, if I'm honest. But she's very quickly found her feet, and last week she got an offer accepted on a mixed-use commercial. It was very dilapidated, on the market for 150, with a bit of negotiation and taken over a few weeks, where the seller accepted, was willing to come down from the asking price of 150. We eventually agreed it at 95,000. So that's what it's got to be 30% below the asking price, isn't it? Amazing. And now through Trinity and our brokerage, WP Property Finance, we're arranging the bridging finance to do that, to complete the purchase on that. And that's got a done up value of 300,000 plus. Okay, it needs a chunky amount of work on it. You've probably got about 100K's worth of work on it. That's going to be a solid addition to Nikki's portfolio. So I'm really proud. I'm proud of what Nikki's done there, and I've been working with her quite a lot actually, because I do this one-to-one mentoring with my mentees and proteges, and Nikki's certainly one of those. And we bounce it backwards and forwards. The agent said this. What should I do? And this is proper hands-on coaching, and that's what I do. And how do I get to do that? Because I don't take on hundreds of people. I'll take on a bunch of people at a time. Some in the spring, some in the autumn. I just work with them. In fact, I've finished my spring. I've finished my spring series of BRR Summit events, and I'm about to shut the door on any more applications. I've taken a bunch of people on this spring. I'm going to work with those one-to-one. I call it my eyes on their deals, and it's immensely powerful. And do you know what? It works. I make people successful, and I'm going to shut down until October. So next few days, I'm going to shut the door. No more applications. I won't take anyone else on, and we'll open up again in October. So for people that have been along to a BRR summit, hey, if you're watching this and you went to a BRR summit and you're not on board yet, you've got to be quick. Otherwise, I'm going to shut the door. And it's not being nasty. It's just being pragmatic, because that's the way I help people be successful. Is that I'm not taking on new people all year round and getting overwhelmed and failing to support people. So hey, while I'm telling you all this, got a question. Fire a question into the chat box. It's down there for me. Anyone else? Anything you want to know about property finance, because that's my speciality. So, want to know something about property finance? Chuck it in there. So, what else did I do? I helped my mentee Diraj. Now, Diraj, even newer with me, he's only jumped on in the last few weeks. But at one of the Zoom sessions I did, where I show my people how really easy it is to find great deals on Rightmove and Zoopla. They're not hidden away. You don't need some special saucer. You don't need to be off market to find great deals. You just got to find a problem property that no one else wants to buy. And fair play to Diraj. He got this. I mean, he's a smart guy. He got this really quickly, and found this deal. And oh my God, it's a wreck. Now, I've seen a lot of bad properties over the years, but this was one of the worst condition properties I think I've ever seen. It was in horrendous condition. Now, guess what? No one wanted it. Diraj did. So I worked with him on the on costing out how much he could offer to make a decent profit, and he got accepted. Now it was only about 40 grand below the asking price on a bigger property, so he got it about 10% below asking price. But it's in a really nice area of the town, and needs a lot of refurb work. But we're probably looking at 100k plus profit on that one, I think, for him. So amazing. So again, we're now going through getting the bridging finance arranged so that Diraj can very quickly get some success after jumping on board my training. Sometimes it happens quickly like that. Other times it takes longer. And, you know, I'm not going to shy away from that, because you know, it's not necessarily what the investor is doing that makes the difference. It's how motivated the seller is, and when you come across them. If they just put the property on the market, they're probably going to be all enthusiastic and hopeful and idealistic about their chances of selling it at or close to the asking price. Now, that enthusiasm drains away and dwindles with each passing week. So once it's been on there for a few months, they're feeling way less optimistic and a lot more pessimistic. And hey, look, guys, you know this. Every time you see an asking price reduced on Rightmove or Zoopla, you know that's what's happened. They've become a bit more pessimistic about the price they're going to sell the property at. So it's a bit of a lucky dip, really. You know, when you find a property, how long has it been on the market? How motivated is the seller? And it's massively variable. And one thing is, we know you cannot push a seller to get more motivated than they are at any one time. They've got to do it in their own time frame. And sometimes they'll take weeks and usually months. But hang on in there. Follow up is the biggest key thing I teach people. Follow up. Rejected offers until they say yes, and often as not, they do eventually. Excuse me. So, Diraj, someone that another mentee and protege of mine is Mariana. Now, she's worked incredibly hard, and you know, don't believe these trainers that will tell you, oh, it's so easy. You know, you can just almost at a flick of your fingers become successful at property. I don't know really anyone that does that. It's a much longer game, and it requires work. You've got to put in the hours. You got to find the properties. You've got to do your due diligence. You've got to work out your numbers. You've got to make your offer. You've got to get it rejected, and then you've got to follow up. And if you follow up, some point later they'll say yes. And Mariana's been incredibly committed. She made in 2024. She made 52 offers. She said to me at the beginning of 2024, Kevin, I'm going to make an offer a week. Some of your other mentees like Maggie and other people, if they're operating at that level, well, I can too. And she was as good as her word. And massive respect to Mariana, because she did that. And she got all her offers rejected to start with. But then two things happened. One is they started being accepted. And secondly, she got the respect of estate agents because of her diligence in following up. She didn't follow up straight away. It took her some time to understand the power of follow-up. But again, working with her on making sure the numbers were correct, and my eyes on Mariana's deals. I've looked at a number of deals that Mariana has done, and happy to check them over and make sure she's not making a mistake. So, hey, while I'm talking about this, guys, what about a question? Haven't had a question yet today. I mean, is this going to be one of the days where we don't have a question? If it is, that's okay. So yeah, checked over, and mentored a number of deals that Mariana found. And one of the fun was a flat with a short lease. It had some other problems as well, but it stuck on the market for £450,000, and for months. And with a bit of negotiating, she got it accepted at 330. Now that's £120,000 below the asking price. Again, that's got to be about 30% off. My mentees, Jordan and Lisa, they've got more than one deal accepted at 30,000 or 30% below the asking price. So, hey guys, this is possible. I've got people doing it. I'm helping them, checking their numbers, working out their strategy, making sure that it fits, making sure it's plausible and viable, and taking great pride in the fact that they succeed. Now, there we go, guys. What's your experience of that? Yeah. If you're doing any other training, let me ask you a question: are you getting that level of mentoring support? My experience is, in most cases, you're not, because other trainers don't give you that level of support and mentorship. It's more about, thanks for your money. Here's the training. Hope you get on well with it. Have a nice life. But going back to the pitch-free networking and the summer barbecue. Now, I know there's people going to be there that have been with me 10 years. Laura and Faz and Fiona and a number of other people. I trained them, 8-10 years ago. They're still around. Why is that? Because it's a community. It's not just training. And it's probably the warmest, most sharing community that you'd be welcomed into. And people that come into it new are actually blown away, really. They've never met these people before, but they're so warm and welcome, and they're so without ego. They're not all bigging themselves up. We're not, massive egotists. But hey, Nicoletta's got a question here. Hey, Nicoletta. A flat in a 6-story block, is that considered high rise? Well, great question, because mortgage lenders have a view on blocks of flats, and they have a view on what they like and what they don't. Now, if it's built in the 21st century, they're not really worried about how many floors it is. Why is that? Because it's built to 21st century building standards, build quality. So the build quality in the 21st century is good. 20th century, not so good. The earlier in the 20th century is even more not so good. Was it built for the public sector or private sector? Public sector, big problem. Private sector, no, that's okay. Public sector, yeah, big problems. Why is that? Because it was built to a budget and not to a quality. And also, it was never anticipated that it could be owned individually, because the law at that time they were built didn't allow it. You couldn't buy a flat in a public sector block. The laws changed in the early 1980s. But most of the flats you see that were built in the public sector were built before that. And literally they were built to a budget, not a quality, because people were needing to be housed. So it was cost efficiency that ruled the roost. And of course, those buildings are now 50 to 60 years old. And they're not aging that well. So for 20th century, to keep answering your questions, for 20th century blocks of flats, then lenders like to say, well, low rise is what they like better. Low rise means 4 stories, up to 4 stories. There's a bit of tolerance at 5 and even a bit more tolerance at 6. But in a block of 6, and it's not what floor the particular flat is on in a block, it's how many stories in the block. So you might have a first floor flat, but if it's a 10 floor block of flats, lenders won't like that in the main. Again, subject to the caveats I've already said. And again, the construction is what is it made of? If it's 6 floors, but it's brick construction, that is better than 6 floors concrete construction, because brick's more durable than concrete in lenders' eyes. So, it's so would a 6-story block be considered high rise? Well, it wouldn't be considered low rise, because low rise is up to 4 stories, but it's still possible. It's a ground floor flat and brick built. Okay, well, those are both pluses. It doesn't really matter which floor. If it's 6 stories, it doesn't really matter which floor the flat is on. They're all judged by the same thing, and it's brick built. Brick built's a plus. Now, if it was originally built by and for local authority tenant use, there's another factor that mortgage lenders want to take into account. What percentage of the block is privately owned, and what percentage is still tenanted? Or the council won't have it anymore. They sold off their housing stock many years ago to housing associations and the like. So the council aren't actively the owner. They're still the freeholder. They still own the ground and the structure, but they've sold off the individual flats, or they've sold off the rental contract to other parties. So if it was owned by the council, the issue is what percentage of the block is privately owned, and some of the mortgage lenders are looking to see that they won't lend if the majority is still rented. So that's another factor that could help you there, Nicoletta. Well, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. So there we are, guys. Last week was amazing. We met up in Leeds on Friday. A bunch of us, about 20 plus. We had some great success stories from people that I'm mentoring. Do you know what? How amazing is that? What a privilege to be able to influence and get those results from people I've met. So that was great last week. And this Saturday is the summer barbecue. It's going to be, I think, 40 plus people, 40, 50 people, something like that. We've already got a lot of people booked, and there'll be people booking all the way through this week. And so that's pitch-free networking. There we are. And what am I doing tomorrow? Tomorrow I'm in Leeds again, this time with my top-level mentees, my Ninja Achievers. Now, these are on a 12-month mentorship and accountability. So we're going to be focusing on the accountability tomorrow. They just set 4 weekly goals. And we're going to be drilling down. And when we met a month ago, they gave me some, usually 4 to 6 things that they felt they could achieve in a month. So we're going to be drilling down and seeing how they got on. So there we are. That's this week. But the focus really this week is this Saturday, and having an amazing day in Stratford-upon-Avon. Summer barbecue, 40, 50 people, 5 hours plus of networking, Mentee case study, Keynote, speaker on VAT, Mentee case study on exchange with delay completion and getting into property with actually very little money. And we've got a question coming in. Here we go. Rob, how you doing? Good to see you, buddy. And we were chatting last week on this very broadcast about you were trying to make it to the barbecue this Saturday. You were trying to work a couple of things out. How you getting on? Are we going to see you? Love to like that. Love to do that. I hope to see you there this Saturday. Right. Do mortgage lenders like tenants such as Serco? No, they don't. In the main, buy-to-let lenders absolutely do not like them, because buy-to-let lenders only allow a 6 to 12 month rental agreement currently. They only allow an AST as the only contract, and they only allow the tenant in situ and the landlord as a signatory. Serco is nothing like that. Serco's typically can be different, but typically a 5-year contract. It's a commercial lease, and the tenants are not the people that sign the contract. Serco signs the contract. Now they tend to be Serco for things like asylum seekers, but there's quite a lot of stuff going on around that at the moment. You know, the government's actively looking for landlords to take on these properties on a lease. Serco is one of them. There's a couple of other ones that also do those sort of contracts. I mean, the concept for a landlord is great because you can say, because this corporate tenant says, hey, can we have your property for 3 or 5 years? Can we just pay you money every month, regardless of whether we've got people in there or not? Can we take care of the maintenance? And can we take care of all the bills? So it's pretty much as hands off as you can get. Now you're saying supported living. Okay, so that's a variation again. So you know, there are a lot of special interest companies doing supported living. This is supported living and social housing for people that are not really got it together enough to support themselves, to live independently on their own, and they need a bit of help along the way, maybe temporarily, maybe on a longer basis. Actually, we're going to talk to Lisa Brown tomorrow, and she's going to tell it. And Lisa Brown's very credible on this, actually, and she put a post out last week saying people are jumping on the bandwagon, no real idea what they're doing, no real understanding, and just on a pretty mercenary basis, rather than actually caring about the end people that are in the property. And I fully support what she's saying. So yeah. Now, do mortgage lenders like them? Go back to that. Buy-to-let lenders don't, for the reasons I just explained. So can you get a mortgage? Yes, you get a commercial mortgage. It's a commercial lease. You get a commercial mortgage. Same for supported living type things. Yeah, all the same. So yeah. Now, Isaac in the brokerage knows which lenders do mortgages for these type of commercial contracts. So if you want to move forward on one of those, Rob, just let me know, and I'll I can get that sorted for you. And you're still trying to get down to Stratford-upon-Avon on Saturday. Well, I hope you make it. I'd like to see you. It'd be great to meet you, have a chat. So, hey, got any more questions, guys? Because I'm going to be wrapping up. I mean, I've done my 30 minutes, my allotted 30 minutes. And we've talked a lot about this Saturday's barbecue. Still got places available. So if you want to come, Pitch Free Networking. If you're watching the replay and it's before the 12th of July, hey, Pitch Free Networking. There it is. Come check it out. We talked about how my one-to-one mentoring actually helps mentees, proteges get deals over the line, which is hugely pleasurable for me. So I think we're about done, guys. There we are. So a bit quiet on the question front this morning, but that happens. It's an ebb and flow thing, isn't it? think last week we were really busy on there. Oh, hang on a minute. JC's coming in. Hey, JC, coming in through YouTube. How you doing? Now, are you just saying hi, or are you going to squeeze in a question there? There we are. Thanks for doing this show. It's always appreciated. Wow, what a nice thing to say, JC. Brilliant. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thanks for supporting it, because you're often asking a question. I don't know if you've got a question today. It doesn't matter if you have. It's good. And hey, if you've been watching this, I don't know whether you have. I've been telling you about the summer barbecue. Can you get down to Stratford-upon-Avon on Saturday, JC? I'd really like to meet you. If you can, just go there, pitchfreenetworking.com. Refurb finance feels like a question's coming, so I'm going to hang around just for you, JC, and see if you've got this refurb finance question. Yeah, I'm guessing it is. Here it comes. Here it comes now. Is there a minimum that lenders will lend for the purchase and refurb? Yeah, I mean, every bridger has a minimum. Every bridging lender's got a minimum loan. I call it their can't be asked threshold, below which they can't be asked to lend, because there's not enough money in it from. There's not enough profit. Now, that can't be asked bottom threshold is going to be different for pretty much every bridging lender, because they've got different overheads. You know, if they've got bigger staff, bigger offices, they've got a bigger bottom line break even. Others are smaller. In a lot of cases, it's 100k. And in some lenders are more than 100k, but in a lot of lenders, the minimum loan is 100. If you want to borrow less than 100, still possible, but choice of lenders is reduced. There we are. So if you said 100k, that's a good benchmark as a minimum. You want to go 100k or above, got a good range of lenders. Below 100k loan, possible, but smaller choice. You're based in Leicester. Oh, are you? Okay, all right. Is there any property network meet that's close to me? Not yet, because the other thing is property chats. If you were watching last week, I don't know whether you were, but I had the Ipswich property chats host Claire on, and she was extolling the virtues of my property chats format for midweek evening networking meeting. The summer barbecue is all day networking, all day weekend networking, but every other month of the year, or pretty much apart from August. We're not doing one in August because, hey, everyone deserves a holiday, don't they? It's re-engineering and restructuring what a midweek evening networking meeting looks like. Free to attend, no speakers, no announcements, no sales pitches, just chatting. Right now, not any that's close to Leicester, but I'm going to be opening up in the autumn a few more. We've got, I don't know, 16, 17, I think, at the moment. Nothing around Leicester at the moment, but hey, keep watching out, because we're going to be launching more cities, more towns, cities in the autumn. So they're all coming in. I was just about to go, and now they're coming in. Raja, any recommendations on good accounting software? Well, as I got a background in finance, no, I haven't, because accounting's not my thing. You need to talk to an accountant for that, Raja. I appreciate your question, but you're asking it in the wrong direction. You're pointing in the wrong direction, because accounting's not my thing. I don't know. There's that Zero thing, isn't there? Heard of that? Zero, QuickBooks, stuff like that. Are they recommended? Listen, don't you take my recommendation on accounting stuff, because I don't know much more than you, mate, if I'm honest. Maybe a bit, only because I hang around accountants quite a bit, property accountants. But there we are. But thanks for your question anyway. Sorry I couldn't give you more information on that. Now, JC's rolling in with some more questions here now. Great. Well, let's go for it, JC. Hey. And, if you can make this Saturday, Stratford-upon-Avon, Leicester to Stratford-upon-Avon, it's not a huge distance, is it really? It'll be free. Love to see you. Love to put a face to the, to the initials, really. I was going to say name, but it's not really a name, is it? Love to put a face to the initials. If you can get there, pitchfreenetworking.com. There you go. There it is. Now, question. Also, if you're doing a 12-month bridging loan, and the strategy is to sell the property, but at the 11th month, the property sale is still going through, will the bridger lender be happy to extend? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It's entirely at their discretion, JC. Entirely at their discretion. And some are more amenable than others. Now, you can influence that by your communication levels with the bridging lender. Now, some bridging lenders employ an asset manager, and they call every borrower in the last 3 months of the loan to see how they're going. Are they expecting to pay on time early, or are they going to run over? And if they run over, that's not good. Others don't. They might be happy to extend. There's no guarantee on that. And it might be determined on how near you are to completion. So, if you've done a buy to sell strategy, nothing wrong with that, and the property's on the market, you found a buyer, you got the refurb or the improvements done, whatever they might have been, in a timely fashion. It's on the market. If you haven't found a buyer, a bit more worrying. If you have found a buyer, but that their finance is still being processed, that they're more likely to be okay with that. But a key thing I can tell you there, JC, communication. Don't stick your head in the sand and hope it will be all right. Bridging lenders get a bit twitchy if they've got no idea whether you're going to meet the loan end date or not. So communication is the key. But often they do extend the term, and they'll give you maybe another 3 months typically. So would they extend the bridging loan by an extra 3 to 6 months to support the property sale without any penalty fees? Probably not without any fees. For an extra 6 months, you might get an extra month if you're just saying, look, my mortgage, my buyer's mortgage offer is due any day now. They'll probably give you another month, maybe 2, without any penalty fees. If you want 3 to 6 months, they're almost certainly going to charge you a higher rate, and they might charge you a new arrangement fee as well. It's all discretionary, so it's entirely up to them whether they do that or not. But if you've gone 12 months and you haven't managed to get it over the line, the sale over the line in 12 months, you're going to have to be really nice to them and give them a lot of confidence that actually you've done it all right and you haven't messed up, and now you're trying to dig yourself out of the hole that you yourself have created. So there we are. We had no questions for most of this broadcast, really. And then we come in with a flow at the end. So thanks to JC in particular, and Rob and Raja, even though I couldn't give Raja an answer because he didn't ask a finance question, he asked a tax question. That's not my thing. You can see the screen getting lighter and darker, and that's as the sun out there comes out, goes behind a cloud, comes out, goes behind a cloud. Okay. So I'm going to focus this week on my Ninja Achievers on Tuesday, and then it's full steam ahead to the summer barbecue. I'm going to be weaving my merry way down to Stratford-upon-Avon at the back end of the week, ready for the barbecue on Saturday. So there you go. So hey guys, I'm going to be back Monday, next Monday, same time, same place, same channels, and we're going to do this all again. And who knows what questions we're going to ask next week. They'll always be interesting. They usually are. And also, I'm going to tell you any mentoring interventions that I've had this week. I'm going to start doing that a bit more. You heard me talk about Nikki and Diraj and Mariana. So I'm going to talk a bit more about the mentoring interventions that I make. Give you a feel for, what it's like being mentored by me. So there we are. Hey, so time to go. Thanks for your participation, whether you caught the whole of this. If you didn't catch the whole of it, you can go and watch the replay. And I'll see you next week. Have a great week.